What's up, Vancas?
Hello, Vancas.
How is everybody doing?
How are you doing? I hope you are staying cool, baby. I hope you are staying cool. Listen, it's in New York City, and it's fucking cold outside, and the fall is coming, and I was getting a little bit depressed. And then I looked at this race today and I said, oh, it would be nice to be if it was summer again. And then by the end of the race, I said, no, the heat is fucking out to kill our boys, Matt.
Fuck the heat. Fuck the heat. I much prefer the cold because you can always put layers on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you can't. You can't take. There's only so many layers you can take off before you're on a sex offender list. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. It's hard to cool down. George Russell had to lift up his visor on the fucking main straights. I mean, the guy was risking his life to just stay to get a little bit of cool breeze into his face.
Yeah. I mean, it was hot. It was hot this weekend for a lot of reasons.
It was hot on more places than just the track.
Yes.
The track wasn't the only place where it was fucking spicy and hot this weekend.
Yes. It was hot in many more ways than one. But should we thank our daddies for what should we do? The bookkeeping?
Yeah, well, of
Brian,
course.
do the bookkeeping.
We'll do the bookkeeping. First things first. Austin live show, people. It's coming up soon. It's in T-minus fucking what is it? Sunday, October 22nd at 9 p.m. at the Vulcan Gas Company. Link will be in the bio. We've already been selling tickets. They're going like fucking hotcakes. So get yours now while they fucking last, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, we also dropped
link is in the bio.
Links in the fucking bio. We also dropped some Oscar Piastri merch that is sexy, and you need it on your fucking back. That will be in the bio as well. Yeah, I mean, Oscar Piastri, don't worry, we're getting into Oscar Piastri. Yeah. But we got to thank our daddies of the pod. We got to thank Kayla, Robin, Jordan Texera, Jay Lingle, Spencer Grieve, Javier Mera, Sheila Valeri, Chandler, Luana Galbano, Ali Santana, Carla Warlow, Kimberly Whalen, Alonso Over My Face 69, Donya Denad, Jimmy, Mohammed Patel, Kimmy, sponsored by Mommy of the Pod, Hollister 584, Liv Lot, Cat, Future Dog Toward Dion, Steph Grossi, and JB Fresh. Yeah, JB Fresh, you know who the fuck you are, bro.
Yeah. You know what? I just want to get the bookkeeping out of the way because once I get started on this weekend, I'm not going to be able to stop.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be like George Russell when he sees his teammate.
Yeah, bro.
Or Esteban Ocon when he sees a former teammate.
That's right.
Or Oscar Piastri when Lando Norris is coming up his ass. I'm not going to be able to stop.
Please, Lando had the pace on him today, and you fucking know it, dude. You know it. You know that Lando had the pace on him today.
Okay. He you know what? All right, you want to get to the Lando thing now?
Let's. Or do you want to
get to the Stroll? Or you want to get to qual? You want to do sprint race? You want to?
I mean, there's so much. There's so much. Fucking Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, well, where do you want to start?
Let's start with Piastri.
Let's do chronological. Let's do chronologically.
Okay, fine.
I mean, because there's so many times this weekend where Oscar Piastri beat him. So, but let's start at the beginning.
Yeah, let's start. Very good place to start.
Let's start at the beginning. Let's start with qualifying. Okay.
Yeah.
Qualifying. Lance Stroll.
Get the fuck out of his way, dude. Get the fuck out of his way, dude.
No. He qualified. He gets knocked out of Q1.
Yeah.
In Q1 for the fifth time in a row.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's mad. He gets out. He's mad.
Mm-hmm. And his trainer's like kind of giving him he's giving him a little finger wag, which was kind of confusing.
Okay, now let's not go into victim blame territory, okay? Let's not go into that territory. He goes to try to get in his space, get in his grill, and he's like, he knocks him away.
Right.
And then they go behind the screens. He goes behind the screen, right. And he thinks he's off. He thinks his mic is off visually, and he just fucking looks like he really gives him the business.
Yeah.
And he looks like he really shoves him.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say, he should be fucking suspended for this. They should have suspended him right then and there. All you fucks who say that this is a real sport, if this was a real sport and you shove a guy, if you shove a guy in your jersey, one of the people on the staff, you shove a guy, you're getting suspended. Remember Blake Griffin when he punched a trainer? They were out on the town. He punched a trainer, fractured his hand, missed a bunch of time, and they said, you know what? When you come back, you're still sitting 4 games.
Yeah.
How demoralized? It's already enough that this guy is fucking never in the points. He's making these guys stay up late, because he's wrecked the fucking car. He's costing them millions of dollars in fucking constructors points and damages, and now everybody knows that he can just fucking run you over and shove you to the ground, and absolutely nothing happens. He's got international immunity. I mean, why not suspend this guy? Because you know what? It's not going to make a difference in the race. He's not going to score any points anyway. It's got no competitive meaning. He's making no impact in the race whatsoever. It's a one-car team. Maybe have all those guys be working on Alonso's car, working on cooling it off. He's asking for some water dumped on him. Where nothing. No help for Alonso. His old ass is fucking frying. Ugh. So upset that he wasn't punished for this. This kid needs accountability in his life.
Yeah.
He needs to be held accountable. He needs to be treated like everybody else. And it's kind of happening, and he's kind of losing his mind. He needs to sit a few plays out.
He's definitely
get his head right. He's losing it.
I mean, his post-quali interview was beautiful. Was, doing his best kind of Kimi Räikkönen impression, as people were saying, giving one-word answers. Just keep driving. I mean, he's just got to go. I mean, it's just his time is up. At least it seemed like he gave a fuck. At least I saw something.
I hate that narrative. It just shows he really cares.
Okay, here's my point. Here's my thought. Okay.
All of them care. If Max Verstappen had shoved a trainer, would you think we'd be having, it shows he really, no, he'd be crucified. He would be fucking crucified.
Here, what made it really inexcusable was the fact that it was like, it was someone on the staff, that I'm not against the drivers pushing each other and shit. Like, if he went after a driver, I'd be like, yeah, but that's all fair game. It's kind of like in the NFL, like if you're, there's a bunch of jockeying after the play, but if you go after like one of your trainers or the water boy, like then you're fucked.
No, you can't go after the guy on the same team. It kills it kills the chemistry of the team. It kills
beyond that. Like, yeah, of course, within that, but like, whose responsibility should it be to suspend him? Should it be fucking Aston Martin?
Absolutely, he should be suspended.
Right.
That's what they do. That's what they do in sports teams. That's what the Clippers did when Blake Griffin in a real sport does. It's totally an eternal thing. Which
speaks to the what this thing is actually about, which is the fact that like he's the spoiled son of the dad who owns the team, which is the narrative always, and he doesn't do well. It would actually serve him in the public eye to be reprimanded by the team, because it would show that it's not just daddy says I can do whatever the fuck I want. It would actually be good for him if they were to suspend him after doing that, if the team suspended him.
Yeah, it would show that there was some accountability, and it would make the team feel better. It would make the crew feel like he was treated like a regular person.
Right.
That his actions had consequences. And I mean, I do think his actions do have consequences, because there are rumors that he's selling the team, or that he's getting out, and that this is just kind of unsustainable. I mean, Lance still doesn't seem like he has his feet firmly on the ground, because he said that we're good. He didn't apologize. He said, we're good. He's a bro. We go through frustration together and we ride together. So we're cool, which kind of does it. It's such a bullshit statement. I didn't think it was a real quote, because to say he's a bro is so fucking insulting. It insults my intelligence. It insults the intelligence of bros.
Yeah.
Because he's not a bro. Because if he was a bro, then he'd be able to shove him back.
Right.
We all fucking know what would have happened if that guy had shoved him back.
Right.
If his much stronger trainer had shoved that little twink bitch back, he would have been a wet spot on the fucking map. And that it's all funny. No, it's a one-way fucking thing. You're a fucking employee.
Yeah.
It's not. They're not bros. You pushed your fucking employee, dude. It's disgusting.
Right.
It's not okay. You should have fucking apologized. And by the way, I don't think this is cancelable behavior. I don't think he's the Antichrist for doing this. I just think he should apologize and he should be held accountable. Do I think Blake Griffin is a horrible person because he got drunk at a bar and got into a fight with his trainer and punched him? No. He broke his hand. He lost $800,000, and the guy probably sued. So, I mean, it was whatever.
Yeah, there's the consequences, which is also why, it's like part of the reason that Lance Stroll gets so much hate is partly because it's like the public kind of feels like they have to be the consequences for this kid because otherwise he just keeps failing upwards. And
I actually don't think he gets enough hate. I actually don't think he gets enough because when because they say that he shoved the trainer and the guy, and I think it was Karun who's like, that just shows you he really cares.
Right.
And they say that when he got into that really bad crash. I don't know which was it, Singapore or Suzuka. He got into that horrible crash, and they go, that just shows you he really cares. He's really pushing that. They don't say that about anybody else. They make excuses for him constantly, and he's making a mockery of this sport that they're all supposed to love and protect.
Yeah, well, it was amazing to see them it was the broadcasting of it because it was they showed it and then they immediately said and then Stroll punching the wall there, showing his frustration. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, don't think he punched. I put it on our Instagram. I was like, did anyone just see Lance Stroll absolutely shove the shit out of his trainer? And then they showed it again. They're like, yep, there he is punching the wall. They're trying to get it by that because if you watch it, it's pretty clear that that's not what he's doing. And I think that they were hoping that people wouldn't put two and two together that he actually shoved an employee of fucking Aston Martin.
And somehow Yuki Tsunoda has a reputation for being a psycho. When he uses naughty he has a potty mouth.
Right.
And Lance is out here fucking throwing his $100,000 steering wheel and shoving people.
Yeah.
His own teammates. It's crazy. Yeah. It's not fair. It's not right. And I actually don't think, some people shit on him, but it's there are a lot of Lance Stroll apologists out there. He's not that bad. And everyone's like, oh, he's having a bad year. I actually don't think he's having a bad year. I think Vettel was washed.
Mm-hmm.
I think Vettel was washed. I think Leclerc ran him out of fucking Ferrari. I think Vettel was one of those guys that had a very narrow operating window. And when the window was good, he'd get second in Hungary until, the fuel tank bullshit. Remember the Ocon race?
Right. Yeah.
And when the car was a little out of the window, he was fucking nowhere.
Right.
So I really think, now he's being tested. I think he's always been this, I think he's always been this, and he should,
yeah,
it's enough already. It's fucking enough,
Well, they might be getting out. They might be getting the fuck out. These are the rumors. The rumors are that he might be selling Aston Martin to a Saudi fund. That's that, or I think they're already part owners. I think he might be selling the rest of it. They also might be getting into WEC.
Well, that's telegraphing where this is going, right?
If they're going into WEC, get out of
that Lance is going to just try to win Le Mans.
Right.
Which is more realistic and doable. You pair him with two other great drivers. You build a good car, and I think he could definitely win Le Mans.
Right.
Oh, Jenny just tells us that they just announced they're going into WEC with the Valkyrie with a newly designed car. So it's just
So you know what that is? That's a lock. That's gonna go ahead and be a fucking lock.
Yeah, Lance is about to win Le Mans. So
and Giovinazzi might say that it's better than being in Formula One, but if Lance Stroll fails out and then wins Le Mans, I don't think that really has much to say there.
It's just so crazy because Lawrence was saying, that he's going to build this team into a world championship contender, and now he's like kind of half done it. He's like halfway there.
Right.
And his son sucks, and now his son's not good enough. So he's just like, I'm out. It's crazy. Like, he's done a great job. It's not like his fault that his son is not as good as Fernando Alonso. Like, it's like very admirable.
It would be kind of crazy if he sells so soon. I mean, they just became Aston Martin. It's like they just did the rebranding, and then he's already going to be out. I don't really buy that.
It's crazy. Just like, why can't his son just move on and he hold on to his investment? Like, wait for the Honda thing to shape up.
Right. Yeah, they have a huge new center that they built, as Jenny points out. Like, they're going to have they're going to have their own wind tunnel. I don't think he's getting out, but maybe it has to be like, all right, well, let's start a WEC team so we can get Lancey Boy into that seat. It's just like, at what point?
I guess he just can't fire his son, maybe. So he has to get out.
Honesty is good. Being honest, while it sometimes hurts, you'd rather know what's real, what's honest, and what's true. And there's just like, people said they're like, no, don't be so hard on him. He was good. Like, he got like, he was on the podium when he was at Williams. Like, he got pole one time in the wet. And it's like, how many years ago was that? And like, what is it now? Like F1 is known for being a what have you done for me lately sport. Like, the second you start to decline, it's like being a movie star. It's like, when you start to decline, it's like, I don't care how much I like you. Like, you're not producing. But he has like a cheat code. So he gets to like stay in, keep underperforming, punch his, shove his fucking trainer, have no consequences, and it's all hunky dory.
What I don't understand is why he doesn't hold on to the team so his son can like run it one day. Like, his son's gonna have nothing to do with it. Like, when his racing career is over, do you know what I mean? Right. Like, because that's like, why can't his son just be? Now, I don't know what his son's interests are beyond racing, if it's even that. Maybe he'll just go to business school or maybe he'll just be a playboy.
Yeah, sometimes you got to let the dreams die. Sometimes on the other side of the dreams when you were a little kid is actually, that's the real paradise. It's like that's where sometimes the good stuff is. Holding on to the dream that you had when you were 4 years. People love to like romanticize that. Like, I wanted to be this when I was 4 years old, and now I am it. It's like, okay, you fucking stunted fuck. Like, learn to adapt. That's what life is. That's what everyone ultimately has to do. That's where wisdom is. Wisdom doesn't come from someone who wanted to be a race car driver when they were 4 years old, and then they became a race car driver. That's not wisdom. That's not like where growth and understanding of like what life is. That's like people catering to your childhood dream, which is like a nice thing when you're a kid, but when you're an adult, wake up, smell the fucking roses, and move on.
So you're saying that every driver that has had his like childhood dream come true is still a child in some way?
Yes. 100%. Yes.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is like, I remember like hearing, I think it was an actor. We were talking about this, like Jason Segel or something, like talking about how hard it was in high school for him. I was like, that was like the last time it was hard for you.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because like when you make it that early.
Right.
And he's like, oh man, girls in 9th grade and it didn't fuck with me.
You
know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, because then in 10th grade you booked Freaks and Geeks. Right. So it's just like,
yeah.
Because you went to a private school in LA and like and you did the school play and half the room was filled with CAA agents.
Yeah.
And they're like, somebody sign this kid. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so you don't actually have that adversity phase necessarily.
Right. No, it's like following it's like get over your childhood dreams. That's just like I know, and there's a lot of people in my life. It's just like, get over your childhood dreams. They don't matter that much. They were created in a fucking pod where you thought that they mattered because like life was, it's just like no one was really being honest with you when you had your dreams as a child. Everyone just needs to kind of get over them. And then listen, if then afterwards you want to do some shit or like whatever, but you're coming at it from make some dreams as an adult and start following those. But I'm fucking so over, and this is, I'm doing a rant about artists, but like, just get over your fucking childhood dreams. Who gives a shit? Lance.
Damn, Brian.
It's just there's so much wisdom and joy and pleasure on the other side of that. And you're no longer like attached to this thing that you told yourself you were going to be when you were 8 years old. It's like is that really serving you at this point? Is it serving you? Like, this is why people they fucking have midlife crisis. It's like, well, I told myself I was going to be this, or like, I always wanted to be a lawyer. I always wanted to be this. I always wanted to be this.
You gotta check in with it.
You got to check in with that. If that's still what you really want, then great. But this is what happens with all these athletes. They all become fucking depressed after they retire at 40 because they're like, oh, I never thought what the fuck I wanted after doing this. And it's partly because it's like all your childhood dreams came true.
Yeah.
Anyway, didn't think that that's where this is going to go. Speaking of childhood dreams being fucking dashed, I got to send love and support to my boy Lando Norris. Here's my thought.
Yeah, we had this take. So we had this wild take that Oscar Piastri one day,
yes,
in the distant future,
right,
out there in the mist, was going to win a race before Lando, maybe.
Yeah.
And then it happened like a week later.
I know. We literally did that episode. We just did that episode. Like, what if, hot take, Oscar wins a race before Lando.
Yeah.
And we both said, like, that's definitely possible. Like, Oscar's fucking really good.
Yeah. And that happened the next week.
Yeah, I mean, Piastri just, like, had Lando's number this whole week. He was like pretty flawless. I mean, there was that debacle. There was that debacle during qualifying where he thought he was in third or and then they were like mid interview. They're like, oh, by the way, the stewards have just pointed out that you've been penalized for exceeding track load. The last time was deleted. So, and then the look on his face. He's such a fucking internet king. Like, he just sat there with this, like, shitty, like, are you fucking kidding me grin on his face? And then gave a thumbs up.
He's just, like, raised on The Office. Just, like...
He has, like, a perpetual, like, well, fuck me then. Like, he's so quick to go to, well, fuck me then. And, like, and you just kind of love it. Like, that's what happened when Brundle was talking to him. And then and then Ocon walked by, and then he was like, Esteban, happy birthday! And then you see Piastri who just goes like, well, fuck me then, and just walks off. It was like Piastri is just like, he's just like a Gen Z internet kid who's just like ready to take the L, and by his readiness to take the L, he actually like avoids the real L.
Yeah.
Like he lets it, like it's kind of slides off him like water because he's just like ready to take it. He's just ready to be like a meme.
Yeah. No, I mean, he doesn't like, I mean, they compared his moment of learning about it to Carlos when Carlos did the like, he just completely melted and turned into like a pouty 9-year-old.
Oh yeah, when they were, and he was like, oh, that moment, yeah.
It was like just completely opposite energy, but where he doesn't seem like he lets anything get to him, and I think that's probably because Lando just kept missing. He just kept going off track, and Oscar just kept putting points on the board.
Yes.
And just staying within the limits, literally.
Yes. Right.
Well, that happened on Friday, and then in the sprint shootout, what was interesting is they just completely rearranged the track like overnight.
Right.
They were like, "Oh, these curbs are dangerous, so like you can't use these curbs anymore." And like almost everybody went off. Like fucked up. Like almost everybody was like, "Whoa, this
right
ruins my whole plan."
Yeah,
it's like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Everybody else had like memorized the script and had been asked to improvise.
Right.
And they were like not able to do it. And Oscar was like, "Oh, okay, well, fuck me then. I guess I'm just gonna. This is the track now."
Well, it was Oscar's first time racing at this track, so I think that maybe there was like a little bit of advantage that like other people were probably like, I've done this, like I've done QATAR, like I've done it a bunch of times, like I know how to hit this corner, and but also like beyond that, like
he'd apparently tested at this track before, but it's not the same.
Yeah, but he's just like adaptable. I mean, the kid, like he is the real fucking deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently they have like 20 minutes of practice for the shootout. They were just like, all right, get the fuck out.
And that includes Max. Max fucked up. I mean, that's what cost Max the pole. It's just like none of these guys could fucking cope with this changing environment. They've all like prepped. I mean, this whole weekend was a fucking disaster with Pirelli was like, oh, these tires, they'll explode. Apparently, these curbs.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't realize this. You don't realize this till you go to a track and you actually walk on the curbs.
Yeah.
They're like little pyramids.
Yeah, they're deep.
They're deep and
like,
they stick out.
Yeah.
And they like if you walk on them barefoot, like you would hurt your feet.
Right.
And apparently it's like they poke the tires and they created like a sonic crazy sound that degrade like is this like a sonic wave thing or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
That would eventually degrade the tires and they would explode. So they for qualifying they said stay off them. They're going to move the limits, and then for the race they were saying okay, you can't go past 18 laps on any given stint.
Right, which didn't really even the hard tires, because this was like the bizarreness of this was like. What, like, I understand that if you want to put a tire limit for the softs and the mediums and the hards, and they're different, tire limits. But I just don't understand why, like, the hard compound tires, which should last longer, which are stronger, all of a sudden you're doing 18 laps on those, and you're also doing 18 laps on the mediums. Like,
obviously they're being conservative, but
right.
I also think it had something to do with the tire wall, which I don't think has anything to do.
Right.
With the tire walls are the same.
Yeah. The actual, I mean? Right. The hardness.
The inside of the tire could degrade.
Yeah. Right.
Those are built of the same stuff, and they're actually worried of the tire actually just fucking failing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the actual structure of the tire collapsing.
Right.
So I don't think that had anything to do with tire
It wasn't
compound.
about the degrading. Okay.
Yeah.
It just like it was like because also it just made the race like what the fuck was even that?
The race was crazy.
It was just crazy. It just was like, how was this not foreseen? Like you've had a year. Like like how is this happening? Like in the days leading up to the race, all of a sudden it's like, oh, by the way, mandatory 3-stop. Like, oh, it can't go over 18 laps. We're changing the fuck. It's like,
and it's also like a sauna.
Well, yes,
too hot.
Of course,
it's too hot. The track is not good.
Right.
I mean. There's so many other places that you probably should be racing anyway.
Right.
But the check cleared.
Yeah, so. Right. When the bag is big, so they're racing there.
So I mean, it's a bit nuts.
It was just chaos, and I was just like, what? Like,
the sprint race.
This is just like a billion. This is just like one last thing. It's just like this is like $1 billion, billions of dollars are on the line here. I mean, like this sport is worth buckets of fucking money. And like the 3 days before this fucking race that they've paid Formula One hundreds of millions of dollars to have it there, they're throwing in all these curveballs. It's just like, how is this the best that you can do?
Well, this is something that you and I talk about all the time at a much smaller scale. Like, do you take the money? Like, how much do you let the money
influence
compromise the product?
Right.
And very often we just say we're taking the money, but every so often we say, oh well, that's going to completely fuck us, or we're not going to do that because it's going to fuck the product.
Yeah.
But it's just like you're going to take all this money. They have all these races where they take the money and then it's a fiasco.
Yeah.
It's a fucking fiasco. And so,
I mean, at least this was like a circuit. You know what I mean? Like some of these other ones, it's like it's through the streets, and it's like there's all, you know what I mean? Like the chaos is happening in Vegas. Like who knows what the conditions of that will really be? Like it's
right, but at least Vegas is trying to tap into a market.
Right.
Like the race in Jeddah, that's just money. That's not a huge market. That's just money.
But you would like that wouldn't necessarily seemingly affect like the ability for this they're in total control of this track. They could make this track into anything they fucking wanted it to be. but it just seems like there's a laziness. They're like, they took the money and they're just like, we'll see you in a year, and then they get there and it's like, oh shit, this is a mess.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like,
it's part of the thing is they build these tracks for like MotoGP, and like what's good for a MotoGP race is not necessarily good for a Formula One race.
Right, but Formula One is the biggest one, so like they should be able to fucking figure it out for a Formula One race. Yeah. Anyway, we digress. Let's talk about the sprint, because the sprint was fucking great. Sprints are always good. It's like, at what point are they going to be like, well, if there wasn't the safety cars, then it wouldn't have been that good. It's like, there's always an excuse when the sprint is good. It's like, oh, sometimes, well, it was raining, that's the only thing that made it good. Oh, well, there was a safety car, that's the only thing that made it good. They're always good. They're always good.
They're some of the best races this season.
Yes.
You know, it's just like I do this all the time. When do you just admit that you're fucking wrong?
You're just wrong, dude.
You're just wrong. Like, I do it all the time.
Yeah.
If like, I mean, when it happens, I will do it. When I happen to be wrong, I will do it. Which hasn't happened yet.
That's right. Which really didn't happen this weekend because.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
We digress. We'll get there. We'll get there. So let's talk about the sprint.
Oscar was on the clean side of the track. He fucking nailed the start. He gets away.
Yep.
Lando sinks.
Yep.
Lawson. Apparently Daniel Ricciardo like FaceTime Lawson. I was like, hey buddy, you got this one.
Yeah.
Like, he definitely like was just like, you know what? My wrist is, I could probably do it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let you, Taylor, I'm gonna let you finish. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not really dying to go to Qatar right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm a chill in the States.
He watched that race and he was so happy that he didn't do that.
Yeah, he was like, thank God I didn't fucking go. Also, he can make his like triumphant comeback at
Austin
in the States. Like, he's probably chilling in LA. He's gonna be in Nashville. Next week, like, he's that fucking guy. And yeah, he called him. He got in Lawson's head. Because Lawson and Logan, just unforced errors, just like fast breaks and then twist their ankle and like and they're out, like a non-contact plays.
Yeah, it was. It's getting. We'll get to Logan later, but it's just getting scary with him.
Yeah, it's bad.
But they want to keep him so bad, But they're like they're trying so hard to make fetch.
The ladies
happen with him.
doth protest too much. I mean,
and then because Russell, I've said this before. It's like I'm just always right.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning of my rightness. I just fucking was. I was suck. I just started filleting myself this weekend because Russell,
you took out a rib.
Gimmicks.
Yeah.
King of gimmicks starts on the softs.
Yeah,
right,
dude. Yeah,
gets
baby.
Piastri, and immediately they get on. McLaren gets on the horn to Oscar, like, do not worry about this. We'll get him.
Yeah.
Do not be fooled by the man behind the soft tires. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
by the Wizard of Oz. When you pull the curtain, you will see that he is not so great.
Yeah, exactly. McLaren did not blink when he passed him.
Right.
They're like, do not worry about this putz with his stupid little gimmicks.
Yeah.
And then George Russell goes, big move, come on.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you've been a fucking laughingstock for like 3 weeks straight.
Mm-hmm.
Lewis has been double pennying you. You get one move off on a huge tire diff. Let's see if you can keep the tire diff.
Right.
And he,
Well, no, yeah. He got passed quickly. He actually got helped. Like, all the guys who started on soft actually got helped by all the safety cars. Yeah. Like, all those safety cars actually helped them keep their tires.
And then he's begging, for to pit, and everyone's like, you can't,
They're like, dude, there's 4 laps left. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, stop. It's like a delusional gambler. It's exactly what it is. It's like, no, I can still salvage this. Like, no, if we bet, like, if we go all in on Black 24, then like we're gonna hit the jackpot.
He's a degenerate gambler. He's a fucking degenerate gambler because that's how he beat Lewis that first year. Is he took some safety car gambles and it worked.
Yeah,
and now he had one good gambling year, and now he's just gonna just fucking
right.
I remember we have a friend. He like if he just like looks at his wins, he's won like $20,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
We have a friend who was like. Who told us what his total is? Yeah, like net. I was like, Brian, our friend says that he's up $20,000 like lifetime, and then you were like, well, our friend's a liar because he's just delusional. Like he just like he cherry picks his wins, and money is fungible, according to Republicans, and certain about how money goes to certain things that they don't actually go to.
Right.
But
certain things like don't really count as losses. That's not really a loss. Like that was actually, someone gifted me those $500. So like that's not really my money. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like it's like that was my that was part of my bonus. That was just like exactly. That was going to go to this other. That's
what he's really doing. Count. He just doesn't see that he's just gambling and losing.
Yeah.
He's gambling away his house, his car, and everybody's crying and saying, "What are you doing to yourself?" And he just doesn't see it. He doesn't see it.
Yep.
It's really sad.
Yeah. There was that great three-way Checo, Ocon, and Hulkenberg. Ocon just kind of shoving his fucking
French dick in there.
He was like, oh, Perez used to be my teammate. Let's all go off. Let's all go off now. Like, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he's like a shitty Verstappen. He's like a less fast Verstappen.
Right. Totally. That's why Verstappen, shoved him, that's kosher. Can't shove your personnel, but shoving Esteban Ocon, I think, is cool. But so here's what I gotta say this about Lando, because it was a tough week for my boy. It was a tough week for Lando Norris. But you know what? Much like my rant about getting over your childhood dreams, I said in the beginning, I think that this could be, if he looks at it the right way, this could be the best fucking weekend that's ever happened to him. Because what this weekend was a fucking wake up call.
He's had a few of these. He's had a few of these.
No, not like this.
He's been out-qualified by him.
Not like that, Matt. Not like this. Not like this. And then, but then in the race, he's been out-qualified by him. He knows that Piastri is good, but you could see it on his face. Like he was down, and he was down on himself. And I actually felt proud of my boy this weekend. I did. Other than in the race when he was like, so what are we doing? Are we fast? Then I was like, oh no, you've undone all your goodwill. Like, what the fuck, dude? But
do you want to skip to that now? Do you want to skip to that now?
No.
That moment?
We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there. I was proud of the way that he was taking it as his failure. I don't know if you heard his radio in the car, but he was like, I'm just so bad. I'm just terrible. I was just so bad. Like, what is wrong with me? He was taking it on the chin of like that he was fucking up, that like he was not at his best. In his post-race stuff, he was put on a good face, didn't take a shot at Oscar, was like, Oscar was better than me this weekend. He put together, like he didn't make mistakes. I was making mistakes. And he seemed genuinely, especially after the race when he was like, had no pace at the start, but I will say was fighting. And we talked about, there was, as bad of a weekend as was for Lando, I saw a lot of positives this weekend for Lando. He was fighting in the sprint. He was getting his fucking nose out there. He was sticking his elbows out. But then in the post race interview, like he seemed like he was like on the verge of tears. Like he was down. He was down on himself. And I think that we talked about this from the early episodes of with this season when we saw like what Oscar could be. We were like, this is like a real challenge for Lando. Lando's had an easy road in Formula One. He was with Carlos when no one was really necessarily expecting anything out of him. First year, he was fine. Second year, he started to make some progress. Then Daniel Ricciardo comes in. He dominates him for 2 years straight. No real challenge. He fucking high-stepped his way into the end zone for those 2 years. Now, Oscar Piastri's come in and is presenting that real fucking challenge, and everyone's sucking Lando's dick, and everyone's telling Lando he's the greatest thing ever, and of course he's going to get the Red Bull seat, and of course he's amazing, and Max is like, he's my best pal, and he's palling with Max, and he thinks that he's up there with these top guys, and then this rookie is coming in, and he's punching him square in the nose. This is the first weekend where I feel like he really felt the punch in the square of the fucking nose, and so this is real. This is a crossroads for him. It's a crossroads for him of like, what do you do? Do you nut up and shut up? Or are you gonna like bitch want to complain your way into like making excuses every single time that you're not that guy?
Well, I think I saw it a little differently, obviously.
Yeah, what did you see it as?
Well, he did fight this week, and that was good. That was good to see.
Yeah.
But here's the difference. He had to fight because where was Oscar? In front of him.
Yeah, sure.
We didn't see him fight like that when Daniel Ricciardo was in 15th. You look at Max Verstappen, they're like, hey, Max, you got the championship. Don't try to win the sprint race. And he was like, what? Why?
Yeah.
like it's just a different level. Do you know what I mean? There's just, and it's just like, yes, now that he has the fucking carrot of Oscar in front of him,
right,
he'll do it. And it's just like, now he's got the gun to his head. Mm-hmm. But it's just like, that's a good thing to see. But it's just like, when Oscar's behind him, you want to see him push.
Of course.
And Lando can still sleep at night feeling good about himself. And I think that was because, Brian, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
You and I had a very recent conversation about like how we talk our ways out of failure.
Mm-hmm.
How we get the rejection, like how we can metabolize rejection.
Yeah.
If I'm Lando Norris, I have a very easy time handling this rejection of this weekend. I go, well, I fucked up. He didn't beat me. I beat myself. Do you know what I'm saying? Because if I don't do the track limits, I'm ahead of him.
Yeah, sure.
I win this weekend. So I need to, so he can like still go to sleep feeling okay.
I guess.
You know what I'm saying?
But that was not his attitude. Like you would be ignoring the vibe that he was giving off.
No, he said, I fucked up. This is my fault. I put this all on myself, which is a way of saying like he didn't beat me, I beat myself.
Right.
Which is I'm not mad at that. That's a good thing to do.
I mean, like, but like, what's any player supposed to like? You have to take that shit on the chin because ultimately you can't control Oscar Piastri's body as much as he might like to. He can't control that. He can't control those thick cheeks, as much as the general population might want to. But he can only control himself. I don't see that. I kind of hear what you're saying is like,
right, but it would be more devastating if Lando did the perfect lap.
Right, but he didn't.
And Oscar just beat.
Right. But if that had happened, then I think that would have been, he maybe would have said that. Like, I tried my best today, but he just had the edge on me. But like, we saw him go off like at the final turn during quali. Like he fucked up that final lap, and there was personal failures. In an interview, they were like, what happened today? And he was just like, lack of skill. Like, I fucked up. And he was really, and it wasn't like a cheeky lack of skill. He was like genuinely disappointed in himself, which is all you can really be as an athlete.
Well, now I just want to skip to the heel turn at the end.
Of course. Because I was loving that, and I was like, what personal growth Lando's done? And then, you know what? Because then during the race, I was like, and I was really thinking, I was like, Lando, what a perfect time to not be yourself. What a perfect time to show growth when he came out after the pit, after they did that 1.8 second pit, and he came out and he was behind Piastri, and they're both on new hards, and I was like, Lando, Piastri's had your number the whole fucking weekend. You've admitted that. You understand that this isn't your weekend.
Let it go.
And then I honestly, for a second, thought that he was kidding with how he said that radio when he was like,
he was not kidding.
Yeah, so he's behind Oscar, and they're both on the hards, and McLaren, radios in and said like, so Lando, we're gonna hold positions and just bring it home. And then Lando, and I literally, because of the tone of his voice, I thought that he was joking. He was just like, why do we want to do that? We have a big gap. I'm a lot quicker. Like he literally like it was like a little evil like like the parrot on the little man on your shoulder like well boss, why do we want to do that? I'm a lot quicker than him. And I was literally like Lando, like dude, he's had your number all weekend. You were crying yesterday because of personal failure. The kid's like show some growth in this moment and recognize that like this isn't your weekend. And you'll get him fucking next time.
Yeah.
But instead, he was like how quickly he forgets.
And then they were like, "Well, we're worried about the delta to George," and he was like, "Exactly."
He's like,
we should go faster.
My point being made that much quicker. Actually,
yeah. And then he was like, "Exactly. That's why we should hurry up and let me through." And
then they were like, and what they said, they're like, "We've seen it. It doesn't matter. Shut the fuck up, okay, dude."
No, but I thought he was trying to get him.
Yeah, he was kind of trying to get. He was like he was and he wasn't. It was like he was kind of in.
No, he was setting fastest laps.
On the last lap, he was really going after him because he got within a second, and I was like, oh my god, is he gonna try to get him like on the fucking final lap?
But I was then scared. I was like, he sounds so confident.
Yeah.
I was like, he must be able to catch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, he's gonna catch him. He must be so convinced of his speed because no fucking guy would sound that fucking cocky if he couldn't fucking make it happen.
Yeah.
So he kind of ignores team orders, goes for it, and doesn't make it happen. I mean,
Can't. Yeah.
I was like, he better. I was literally like, I was rooting for Oscar Piastri, but I was like, he better get him.
Yeah.
I was like, he better fucking get him because this is bad if he doesn't get him. This is like, if my girlfriend caught me trying and failing to cheat on her.
Right.
It's way worse.
Yeah. Then you're a piece of shit, and she has the ick for you.
Yeah, it's like I'd rather my girlfriend like actually fuck someone than like riz some guy up and like he rejects her.
Right.
Because it's like it's still infidelity. You know, you tried to smash. He tried to be unfaithful to his team. Do you know what I mean? And failed.
Yeah.
I was so icked by it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Lando, please get him because you sounded like you could get him.
Well, he sounded. What's interesting is that like everyone else was like dead after this race, and Lando just seemed like I'm like, does he have like some secret? Is he secretly built? Is he sneaky built? Because like everyone else was like on the floor, passed out after this race, and Lando was like, "I'm chilling." Like even on the radio, he was like,
"Yes." Oscar pointed out. Oscar's like, because Oscar was collapsed on the ground.
Yeah.
And Lando was standing, and then Oscar was like, Well,
Lando made a comment like they're both they're both sitting down, and like or maybe Coulthard was like they're both sitting down. You're standing. Like, are you all right? And he's like, yeah, I guess I'm just stronger than them. That's just what it is.
I'm built different, bitch.
I'm just built different, bitch. And then Piastri got on the mic, and he was like, and what Piastri wanted was for Lando to like go sit as well.
He was just, I wanted to give him shit because I wanted to make an excuse that he was only standing because it was compulsory, but he's still standing.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I know.
Like Lando was just like, okay, I'm gonna go mingle now.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, is Lando on that Pierre Gasly vanity muscles like kick right now? Like, Lando, put a little less time into your fucking fitness and a little bit more time into fucking beating Oscar Piastri.
No, I actually think he's just actually in shape, maybe because I think Pierre was having tough time. I think Pierre has vanity muscles because Pierre was going off a lot.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the heat. Yeah. Let's talk about the heat because
Lando was the only one that was sitting in the uncomfortable chair. Max and Oscar were like on the ground.
On the fucking ground making jokes about, can you get a wheelchair to come bring us out to the fucking podium? I mean, this was crazy. This one seemed like unprecedented. Like they always talk about how Singapore is that race.
Yeah, but they're not pushing. They're not pushing like they pushed in Qatar.
And you know what it is? It was also partly because of this tire thing. Like they talked about how like the whole thing they're just doing they're doing quali laps the whole time because you're only doing 18 laps, so you have to get the most out of them. You're not like pushing on old tires where you're just trying to like keep the tires alive. There's no coast and lift. Like you're pushing the tires to the limit each time. I mean, the reports afterwards. I mean, obviously there was the Logan Sargent.
Sargent
Mid race was like, I don't feel well.
Well, first he was like, "I'll do it. I feel really ill." And
Yes.
then they were like, "Come in."
They're like, "Come in, bro. Like you're in last. It doesn't really matter anyway." And like James Vowles keeps like sticking his neck out for you. So like, just bring it in, and we can use like it's actually good. We have an excuse for why you're gonna get last place today.
It sucks. He was actually right there with Albon.
He was there. He had the pace with him, but and Sargent was like, "No, bro, I'll do it for you, James." He's like, "James, seriously, bro, I'll do it for you."
He's
bro.
like, "You have my word." He's like, "You have my word."
He was like, "James, you have my word, bro. Seriously, I'm gonna do it for you, bro." Then then he keeps being like, "I feel like shit though, dude. Like I feel bad." He's like, "Bro, I got you, bro. I'm good for it, dude." It's like, I'm seeing double, bro. Like, I don't feel good. They're like, "Logan, please come in." He's like, "Bro, no. Sorry, bro." But he was fine. Thank God. I mean, because it wasn't just him.
But it was
the
scary.
fact
It was scary that he like couldn't drive the car.
they were all talking about how like they were like
Blacking
Lance
out.
Stroll was talking about how he was like blurring that like in the high speed corners, because there's a lot of medium and high speed corners on this track. Like he was like he couldn't fucking see the track. It was just like a blur as you're taking the G's.
Well, Lance said he was like blacking out when he hit a certain.
Yeah. Esteban Ocon apparently threw up in his helmet on lap 15.
Gross. Disgusting.
Those helmets are tight.
Yeah. No, he was swimming in it.
Yeah. Oh, also
And
when
he's got the balaclava on.
And he got the balaclava. No, they're like in fireproof suits. Like I've worn those suits. Yeah. They don't breathe. That's the whole point, is that they don't breathe because they don't want to let fucking fire in. They're hot. And you're sitting in a car. I mean, Alonso was like, "My ass is on fire." He was like, "Can you throw some fucking water on me, bro? Like, I am burning up in here."
Yeah. And they gave him nothing.
They gave him jack shit.
Like, you can't dump a bucket of water on him?
Come on. He's already covered in fucking sweat. When they took Logan out of his car, like there was sweat dripping from his ass. I literally was like, "Is he having diarrhea?" I was like, no, that's just sweat dripping, like his whole body covered in sweat. I mean, Alex had to be helped out of the car. Oscar and Max sat on the podium. Lance got out of the car, went immediately to the ambulance.
Yeah. He looked drunk.
Albon had to go to the hospital as well. They were all like completely dehydrated, heat exhaustion. George Russell was lifting up his visor. And Lando was doing this too.
They were all
lifted, but they kept showing George and Lando.
Apparently Yuki did it and just got an eye full of sand.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely dangerous.
Yeah.
It's like legitimately dangerous. Like, Felipe Massa's career and life, like, he almost died because a piece of debris from a car in front of him hit him in his helmet, because they're going so fucking fast that, like, if a little thing hits you, like, you're fucked. So yeah, they were all doing that just to get a little bit of fucking like breeze in their helmets. Like, it was legitimately unsafe. Lando and Charles said that the drivers had fainted. Also, like, there was that moment. Do you see where George like was lifting his hands on the straight? Like he was on the straight.
Like he was in a roller coaster.
Yeah, like literally. Like, can you get like a little bit of? So like, who's to blame for that? Because it feels like there's a few things to blame. Like, I mean, obviously they're doing it in a part of the world that is brutally hot. They do the race at night because if they did it during the day, it just, completely couldn't happen. There's a race distance question. If they're going to have this race in Qatar, it can't be this long.
Well, they just can't they can't push like that.
Well, this tire thing is what brought it over the edge. The fact that they were like pushing every single, like in order to compete, you had to be pushing every single lap is what pushed it over the edge, right? That's what it seems like.
Well, the irony is that this whole thing was the whole reason this was brought about was because of safety,
right?
So.
Yeah.
I mean, this wasn't the intended outcome. Like, if the tires were supposed to last, it would have been a 1-2 race stop, and then they could have lifted and coasted, and wouldn't have been as hard. It would have been unpleasant, but seemingly not as hard on their bodies.
Right. Not to the point where like all of them were having to like go see the medical team.
Yeah, it was It was
crazy.
It was crazy to watch.
Yeah, in the beginning, I was like, oh, it's I was like, oh, like it's like Fernando's ass is hot, and Logan's like not feeling well, and then I was like, oh no, like they're all not
suffering.
They're all suffering, and not in a way where it's like you want to see athletes push it to the limit, but not like this.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh, and before we move to the rest of the race, I want to just touch on the Lando thing.
Yeah.
Nico Rosberg is a treasure, and I think he should do all the post race interviews.
Yep.
Because he just goes for the drama.
Yeah, for the jugular.
Like he goes right to Lando, and he just goes, well, you do a better, I'll let you do it.
He's like, Lando, P3. I mean, surely if Oscar can win in this car, then certainly you can, man. And Lando was like, dude. Like, dude. What the fuck? He also said to Max, like, he asked that question about, like, do you have any more championship? Like, how many do you want to win? Like, are you thinking about that? Like, how many you got in you there, bro?
Oh yeah, newsflash, Max won his third. Anyway, keep moving. Keep.
Yeah, we'll get to fucking you knew that. But he said, yeah, he was like, how many you got in there? Which someone pointed out was like, if he's thinking in that terminology, you know that after 2016, he was like, I ain't got no more championships. Like, he was like, he robbed the bank and was like, can't believe I got away with that one. And then was, fleeing the country immediately.
Yes.
And there was also, there was a little bit of hubbub, like, it was Max stealing Oscar's moment in the sprint, because Oscar won his first race, but Max won the championship, so like Max was front and center in the whole thing. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that or care.
I don't think Oscar gave that much of a shit.
Yeah, I don't think Oscar gave a shit. So like, Max winning the championship, that's the whole thing's about the fucking championship.
I don't think Oscar does it for the fucking attention.
No.
He does it because he's a psycho.
Yeah.
And the only way he comes is at, 200 miles an hour or whatever the hell.
Right.
You know
who does it for the attention?
Who?
The Mercedes boys. Let's get into it.
Well, I really didn't pay that much attention to the race, I have to say, because
the race was chaos. It was chaos.
After the first lap incident.
Yeah.
I just started gloating on Instagram and on our text thread.
Yeah.
Because I called this.
You did.
I said, George and Lewis are going to crash. It's got to happen. It's about it. It is time.
Yep.
As Rafiki, I think, said,
yeah,
in The Lion King, it is time.
Yeah.
George gets squirrely around Lewis. Lewis, wants to assert his dominance. There are no parents. Mm-hmm. There's no parents.
Yep. Toto Wolff was not there.
Why is he not there?
Toto, why aren't you at the fucking race? Your kids keep fighting.
Yeah.
You need to be there.
I can't believe after these past two races, after Singapore, after Suzuka, and now the tension that's been building up, that he wasn't there.
Yeah. Jenny's saying it might be because of he had surgery.
I don't give a shit. That was elective. I'm sure that was
Also, hey, Toto, you're not a kid anymore. Stop fucking mountain biking down a hill and breaking your goddamn elbow, okay? You have a team that's failing. You have a team that's
getting beaten by fucking two customers.
Yes.
But, if it wasn't, you're one Lance Stroll away from being beaten by two customer
both of your customer teams. McLaren has your fucking number. Zach Brown has your number, dude.
He got knee surgery. Okay, I've had orthopedic surgery. you could try. I mean, I've had surgery on my hips. It sucks. It's not pleasant. You can travel.
Also, you can do it later.
You can do it later.
Those types of surgeries are not like imminent. Like the season's over in a month. The season's over in a month and a half. You have a fucking private jet. You're a billionaire. Like, what's going on here? And then he's calling in.
I wrote, what a putz. I wrote, he is such a fucking putz. Calling in to try to settle things down after his number one driver is crashed out of the race.
Yeah.
And George is fucking going on and on like Lady fucking Macbeth.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Oh, damn spot.
Oh, God. He just came out of nowhere. I couldn't see him in my mirrors.
I mean, George was like, I didn't see him behind me. I was like, where do you? First of all, I know it was more Lewis's fault.
Yes,
it was
definitely Lewis's fault.
Everyone said it was Lewis's fault. But where the fuck do you think he was going to be? He was on the soft tires.
Right.
They should have talked about this.
Right.
The whole idea. This was the idea, right? If George is on the medium and Lewis is on the softs, you want Lewis to fucking go for it.
Yes.
And try to get by Max.
That's the whole point.
And then maybe later, George will get Lewis later.
Right.
So maybe they could work together as a team.
Right.
Call me crazy.
Yeah.
And George lets Lewis by.
Yeah.
And then like, hey, like it happened, like, you know how the shoe was on the other foot in the sprint race? Mm-hmm. Lewis will it'll come back to you.
Yes.
It will come back to you.
Yeah. But you know what? Dad's not around.
And it'll push Max backwards.
Dad's not here to fucking facilitate this. Mister, we run things differently. The way, no asshole policy. You know, it's all about the best idea wins. This is how we run.
Idea loses. They're just pussies. And they can't say, hey, George, Lewis is trying to get number 2 in the championship. Get the fuck out of his way.
Yes.
He's like, I didn't see him in my mirrors. He should have been looking in his mirrors. That's where he should have been like, where's my teammate? They should have had a game plan. Right. Where was the game plan? I mean, yes, it was Lewis. Lewis should have left more room. But George was doing some aggressive shit.
Lewis was like, I mean, the line he took on that in that opening was wild. I mean, he immediately was like, let me get as close to George as I can physically get. When you're on the outside of the track, you can kind of like, there was so much room to the left. Here's the thing. We rag on George a lot. This was Lewis's fault, unequivocally. Like, when, in the larger context, there's George's part of this and George is someone to blame. But in terms of like what happened on track, that was a Lewis fuck up. And which he admitted afterwards. He said on Twitter, like, this was 100% my fault. Apologies to George, X, Y, and Z.
I actually think it's more Mercedes' fault.
It's 100% Mercedes' fault. Yes. 100%.
It's because they should have instructed George. If you're going to start Lewis on the soft tires, then that's what they.
It's the whole point.
Jenny points out that they hugged after. I saw that video.
Yeah,
they hugged, and it was like barely. It was almost. I could feel like Lewis was like, "Did you get that?"
Yeah.
Cut. We got it. Okay, moving on. It felt like a scene that they shot.
It wasn't particularly warm. It wasn't warm.
It was so quick.
It was quick. It was not like, bro. It was like, bro, I got you. My bad. Like,
I wanted to see them talk for a while.
Right.
Yeah, and then Lewis's body language was just a masterclass in acting. Just his arms crossed, and he's looking. Yeah. And I love that Lewis was like, "Let's go take it out by my teammate."
Yeah, because they asked, they're like, "Are you okay?" And he was like, "Lewis, you all right?" And he was like, "No, really, just got taken out by my fucking teammate, man."
Yeah,
trying to make some fucking moves out here. Got taken out by my teammate.
And then Russell goes, 2 races in a row.
Yeah. I mean, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. I mean, it's like, I know it's like, we rag on the Mercedes thing. It's like, Toto Toto dons himself, and they don Mercedes as like their whole vibe.
The best they're
you.
the good organization. Red Bull's the bad organization.
Exactly, but like, and then when it's like thinking back on Nico and Lewis, it's like that was a complete failure of management. Listen, horny, sexy for the fans, but that's a complete failure of management.
No, this is at least then they knew that at least one they were gonna win the constructors. They were so far ahead of everybody else that it didn't really fucking matter.
Right.
The only thing they were risking is alienating Lewis, which is, a risk. But at that point they were like, hey Lewis, where the fuck are you gonna go? You gonna leave Mercedes? No. Right. No, you're not. Right. But when it's tight, when you're in a battle in the Constructors' Championship and you have guys, taking each other out, and every point fucking matters. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And Lewis is in a battle for second, and George has proven that he's not up to scratch yet. Maybe,
but
ever.
It's also like even if George was up to scratch, it's still Lewis in the battle for second. And they're starting one place behind each other. They put Lewis on the softs. Like, the whole point is like, let's help Lewis get second place.
Don't put Lewis on the softs then.
Right.
If you're not going to work together.
You're asking for Lewis to try to pass George. That's what you are setting up. You are setting up Lewis is going to try to pass George. And then he did, and he squeezed him too hard, and he got taken out. George stayed in the race. The rest is whatever. But yeah.
But it looked like George was not really prepared for Lewis to do. That was the thing. It's like George didn't even expect it to happen. It's like, why?
Right.
George was in a position to take him out. George should have just slotted in behind Max.
Right.
Stayed there.
Right. But George went to the middle. And then all of a sudden, then it's tight and there's 3 wide and someone's going to get hit. That's what happened. Yeah. 100%. All right, let's get into our sexy little awards.
Okay.
Hottest moment of the day. The racetrack? Qatar in general? It's a joke that only works on Twitter, people. It doesn't work in real life.
Hottest moment of the day. Should I put me as hottest moment of the day?
Yeah, why not?
Or should I be daddy of the day? Or should I be both? For fucking calling this fucking crash on Instagram and TikTok.
Not only calling this crash on Instagram, but also day one of the season, you were like, Oscar Piastri's my guy. Like, it all came into fucking clarity. Like, this weekend was like the evil, ball, the all-seeing eye, like you as the evil,
I will
wizard.
say he's got like this was he's still got to beat Lando in tire preservation, because like he didn't have to preserve his tires. He can beat Lando when they're just going like flat out.
Right.
Because this was just quali lap after quali lap.
Yeah.
Once he can like preserve his tires better, then it's like a happy learned how to putt.
Yeah. Then it's gonna be really over for these hoes. It's gonna be really over for these hoes.
Yeah, let's just take a minute to appreciate me. Can we do that?
Sure.
I've been on the Oscar Piastri thing. I was on Alonso from day dot.
Yeah.
I hated George from the beginning. I went back to George. I had a wobble with George, but I just like all of my takes have just been right the fuck on.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all.
Yeah. Fucking smell your rose. Gift your roses.
Leclerc had a solid race today.
Yeah.
Just Sainz was out in like Q2 like a bitch.
Yeah. And let's not forget what happened with Sainz in qualifying. Let's not forget where Sainz was starting this race before his engine crapped out before the race started.
Before he, you know what? That could be a red flag of the day. I'm jumping all around here, but I'm just really excited. The red flag of the day was not seeing Sainz fucking take his helmet off. Seeing that that would have been amazing. That would have just seeing him exhausted, covered in sweat.
He would have looked good.
That was the red flag of the day for me. Depriving us of that.
Yes.
After a P12 finish.
Yeah.
Wet hair. Jenny just wrote wet hair, and then she typed,
Oh, people were saying that Oscar lying on the ground in the cool down room was hottest moment of the day.
Lady's got it down bad. Lady's got it down bad for that fucking latchkey kid, man.
Because he's got a juicy little ass. You know, Catherine and I are watching it's called Naked Attraction. It's this British show. The premise of the show is there's a person, and there's 5 people behind, like in boxes. Each box has a different color, and then they just show like to the waistline. They're all naked. The people in the boxes are all naked. They show them to the waistline. Then the person has to eliminate one of the people. Then they show them to the neckline. They have to eliminate another person. They show their full body. They have to eliminate another person. Then they hear them speak. Then they eliminate a final person. And then there's 2 people left. And then the person.
What do you mean? What do you mean to the waistline? You see him from the
full,
waist up.
You see full dick and vagina
from the at the beginning.
Like, the first thing they see is just dick and pussy, dude. It's just like,
that's the first thing you see.
The first thing you see. Like, they lift it, like the thing goes up, and then it's just raw dick and vagina.
Do you see legs?
Yes. Yeah. You see legs. It's like, you know, you're not really looking at the legs. You're like, holy shit. It's also in the UK, so it's all these fucking anteaters. Yeah, it's all these uncut gems. And then they turn around, they show them like their asses and stuff and all this, and then they go up to the neck, and then it's just like an excuse for like people, and the whole vibe is like we're the anti-Love is Blind. Like it's actually better. Everyone talks about the experience of being on the show being such a positive. Like, usually I get judged for like my personality or the things that I wear, my voice. But now I'm being judged for the real stuff, like me naked. And it's just like an opportunity for like the person to be like shitty and like superficial, basically. Like, people are wild on this show. I bring that up to say that, like, if Oscar Piastri was on that show, and he would make it through the first round, because if he turned around, you see that dump truck, you know he's making it through. Yeah, one girl goes, his dick reminds me of my ex's, which is just like a wild.
Was that disqualifying or good?
Well, she was literally like, I'm worried that it's my ex, and then like it wasn't her ex, and then she wound up choosing that guy. She was like, you're a better looking version of my ex, and then it was like, oh, it's over for the rest of you. But it's a while. It's crazy. It's on, I think, HBO Max. It's on Max. It's crazy. I don't know why, but you know, Oscar Piastri's got a dump truck. I think that's what people are starting to really recognize, and so that was a lot of people's hottest moment of the day was him lying on the floor. Okay, moving on. We digress. Daddy of the day,
Fernando Alonso. For like doing the like dad thing of like falling asleep at the wheel and like recovering nicely. Oh
yeah, that was crazy.
He did it twice. He drove off twice. It was like, no, I'm good. It's like, Dad, are you okay? I'm fine. I got this.
I'm fine. I'm chilling.
Oh, Leclerc, were you here? Pff, fuck off. You thought he lost almost no time.
That was insane.
The way he rejoined, he like cut so much and just like almost took Leclerc out, and he got just reprimanded.
He rejoined the track like a guy like in a movie on a police chase, like coming around the corner, and it's like there's oncoming traffic. It's like everyone's like honking their horns, and like it's like he drives through.
It was crazy.
He came in like a fucking wrecking
ball. Oh, his race is over. No, not even close. And they're like, Fernando, you're fucking up. It's like, no, I'm not fucking up. You're fucking up. I'm good. I never left.
I can't believe he didn't. He only got like.
When your dad like falls asleep watching a movie, like your dad, you're falling asleep. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I've been watching the movie the whole time.
Yeah. Well, who's it about? Is it about? It's fucking. Guy meets girl, guy loses girl, guy gets girl. Come on.
I've been watching. I remember when I was a kid, I used to tell my dad stories about my life, what I was up to at preschool or whatever. And he would always go, yeah. And then I'd keep going. He'd be like, yeah. And then I noticed, like, whenever I would like tell him, and then I hit that person in the face, he'd be like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
It would be different.
Right.
And then finally one day I just realized he just wasn't listening to me.
Right.
I'd be like, "Hey, Dad, you're just saying yeah. You're not actually listening to me." And then he just started laughing.
Right.
And he was
well,
like,
he was
at
least he was listening then. It'd be worse if you were like, yeah, and then I hit a kid, and he was like, that's right, yeah, that's my boy.
I was like, Dad, you're just saying yeah. You're not actually listening to me, are you? And he just was like, fuck.
You're like, you fucking kids.
I gotta listen to you now.
Millennials and your mental health. Yeah, my dad just goes, I know. No, I know. And like before I even finish telling the story, and I'm like, and then sometimes he'll go like, I know, and I go, no, what was I gonna say? I literally do that. I'm like, no, what? Finish the story if you know. And then he's like, oh, okay, I don't know. Okay, you can finish your story. I know.
The pretending to have it when you totally didn't have it.
Right. That's what dads do. They pretend that they're in control when they're
completely out of control.
Very not.
It wasn't till I got very old that I realized that your parents are just fucking random people that decided to have kids.
Yeah, and they're just faking it.
They're faking it.
They're just faking it. Faking it till they make it. All right, radio of the day. I mean, there's a bunch of
It's gotta be. Was it probably Lando's fucking sass, right?
There was Lando's sass. There was like, yeah, my word.
Bro, my word is my bond.
My word is my bond. It's stronger than oak. It's stronger than oak, James.
I wish I knew one's fraternity because it's like.
Oh yeah, right. DKE.
At DKE, we fucking our word is our bond, bro.
Yeah, Alonso being like, throw some water on me. Come on, I'm burning up in here.
Throw some water on my.
Throw some water on my ass.
How are they? I don't know what's going on with their accent.
Also, K-Mag, when they're like, put it in mode 10, section 14, and he goes, it doesn't make any sense.
What the hell is even that?
What the hell? I invented piano key neckties. I invented it. Yeah, there were a bunch of great fucking radios. Not to mention, just got taken up by my teammate.
And George Russell was like, it was nothing I could have done, like completely politicking.
Also, immediately he's like, I couldn't have done anything. Yeah.
No, first he's outraged.
Right.
And then he's like, then he starts politic. Then he went through like the all 5 stages of emotions there.
Yeah. Bargaining.
Then he thought it was his fault.
Right.
And then I think he was managed to watch the replay.
Right, he literally saw the replay on the TV.
And then he was like, no, fuck Lewis. No, it's 100% him.
Also, when GP was telling Max, like, he's like, all right, so, like, we need you to do, like, a little bit faster than this, but, like, don't wear out the tires. Like, speed up, but, like, not that much. And Max was literally like, what? What do you want me to do? And he's like, go faster, but, like, not that much faster. Max is like, I have one speed, dude.
Yeah. What was I remember you did this before. It was like, you mean send it?
Yeah. You mean fucking send it? He's like, kind of send it. He's like,
I kind of send it. So
send it. Yeah. Yeah. So there was a lot of good radios.
Guys,
today.
what you don't unless you're one of the 3 people who watch this on YouTube. Guys, subscribe to the YouTube.
Subscribe
Please.
to the YouTube.
Brian is wearing a Roman Grosjean hat.
Yeah.
Phoenix hat.
Yeah.
In case you guys didn't know, the Phoenix because he rose from the ashes and is now back in the ashes.
Yeah, and he's gonna sue he's gonna sue Andretti.
He's gonna sue Andretti for firing him.
For ruining their chances of winning a championship this year. But it's a flamed hat, and today was said hot race, so I thought, let's keep it in the theme.
I mean, Andretti was this is the crazy thing is Andretti's trying to get an F1. And everyone's saying, oh, should they or shouldn't they? Do they, will they get approved? They're talking about like is Cadillac real? Are all these things real? Should there be an 11th team? And we touch on this in an interview next week with Noel Miller. Tune in.
Yeah, no big fucking deal.
No big fucking deal. Heard
God
of him.
of fucking podcasts, YouTube, and Formula One, karting, it all.
What no one's talking about is they're not even that good at IndyCar.
Right.
They're Okay, who's better than them?
McLaren,
Penske,
McLaren,
and Chip Ganassi. So the fourth best fucking team. Fucking David Letterman's team got a driver ahead of them. It's fucking Lundgaard.
Yeah.
So it's fucking kind of like crazy. It's like maybe dominate the less cost prohibitive, less engineer heavy.
Right.
If you can't out engineer someone in a spec series,
right?
How do you expect to make the leap?
Yeah.
Into something that requires like real heavy engineering.
Right. It's like your house is a mess. You're gonna come in and tell me how to clean my house. Clean your room, as Jordan Peterson would say. Clean your room.
As he's on the meat, as he's on the meat, all
he eats only meat, and he's
like hooked on opiates.
Yeah. It's like, all right, my king. Karen of the day, Lando. But I'm proud of Lando for the whole weekend. Now he might have ruined it at the end. I was proud of him
until the culminating,
Saturday.
Most important moment.
Until the moment where he was like, "And have you learned? And have you learned from your mistakes?" And he's like, "No." So yeah, probably Lando. Also, obviously Lance Stroll.
Oh,
for what we talked about at the beginning. Also, the FIA.
Is that a red flag? Is that a red flag?
That's also a red flag. Yeah, we'll get to the red flag of the day then.
Yeah, it's probably Lance.
Yeah, Lance.
And Aston Martin for doing nothing.
Yep.
To discipline him.
Yep. Yeah.
But
also the track limits. We didn't really talk about that either. I mean, it's just like you have billions of dollars. If you're going to design a track where defining moments of people driving that track in the series that the track is the most high profile series that's going to come to your fucking track, if one of the main storylines is that you're going to penalize them for pushing it to the limit constantly to the point where it's like the race is a fucking just chaos, that is a failure on the organization, all the governing bodies that made the decisions of what that track layout was going to be. That is a failure on Formula One's part. It's a failure on the FIA. It's a failure on the people that run that track.
Yeah, if everyone's doing it, then it's not the drivers.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy.
It's all right.
Let's for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah. Also, Checo, it's getting kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's getting crazy. I mean, yeah,
this is one of his better races. He didn't hit anybody.
Yeah, I mean, he got hit in the sprint. He got knocked out in Q.
That wasn't his fault.
I know it wasn't his fault, but yeah, he got kicked. But he couldn't pass.
No, he got 20,000 track limits.
And Russell Russell was able to pass Albon quickly, and it took Perez 10 laps to pass him, it felt like. And yeah, he got 2 5-second penalties for exceeding track limits. He is it's tough going for him right now.
He's had 3 horrible races.
Yeah.
Yet is still second in the championship. It's crazy how good that car is.
That's how well he did in the beginning of the year. Yeah. That's how well, and beyond that, that's how good the Red Bull car was in the beginning of the year. Everyone else has now caught up. Not to Max, but to Checo. Anyway, yeah, we got Noel Miller is going to be on the pod next week. That's going to be a fucking great one. He was a legend. We say thank you, Noel, for coming for gracing us with your presence. We are going to be in Nashville later this week for the Red Bull show run. Shout out to Red Bull. Thank you for inviting us to Chicago. We had an amazing time there. We're looking forward to being in Nashville, and we're going to be at Austin. Get your tickets. The link is in the motherfucking bio. You want to give Austin predictions? Because we didn't do that for the Noel app. I'll give a prediction. I think that Lando Norris comes back strong in Austin, outperforms Oscar Piastri. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I think it's going to be another McLaren podium.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they got two of the last 3 races. They're both on the podium, right?
Yeah.
That McLaren car. Zach Brown, dude. Zach fucking Brown.
That's a pretty fast track, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or it's not. Or
there's a few low speed corners like that.
Yeah,
that first corner is kind of low speed, but then there's a bunch of high speed as well.
Yeah, that turn 1 is brutal with the hill. It's like downhill, right?
Yeah. But then right after that is kind of like a Suzuka, like a nod to Suzuka with the S's. Yeah, it's a great track. We'll be there. There's going to be a sprint there as well. Yeah. How are you, motherfucking Venkers?
Yeah, maybe Toto Wolff can make it there too. We'll see.
Who knows? Maybe Toto will grace the Mercedes garage with his presence and not just zoom in.
Not to suck my own dick again, but we were early on the Toto as a fraud.
Yep.
Oh, you guys are all dickmatized by Toto? Not me.
Not me, bro.
Not me. I was quick. I don't suck my own dick that often.
Yeah. But this week you gotta.
This week I got to take a bit of a victory lap. Toto Wolff is an absentee father, deadbeat dad, and a fraud.
Right, to his 2 kids, Lewis Hamilton and George Russell.
George Russell.
And yeah, all it took, and it really started for us turning on Toto when we just like did a deep dive on him. We were like, oh.
Yeah, we just like learned a few things about him.
We just like learned more. We just like didn't believe. We looked past the facade, which is what we encourage you all to do. And going back to what I originally said, look past the facade of your childhood dreams, okay? Get over it. Get the fuck over it. You think I'd have this podcast if I was still attached to my childhood dreams? No! And it's the best thing in my life. All right, you little motherfucking Venkers.
Goodbye, Venkers.
Now we a bunch of fucking Venkers.